air dribble, off the side. Oh, yes!
Say what you want, anything you need. Walk to the edge of the world for you, 'cause I'm all about you now. About you now. Now what you see, you've been calling me. Ain't nothing that you could do to make me walk away. I gave you love, tell you that you're a star, until you see that you are. No matter how hard it's raining, I'll make it come. I hope you feel me, even when I'm gone. Through the cold and wet weather.
He's a one-man band. He does it all, and now he's gonna show us what
Tap opportunity, gets it! Hey! Off a fantastic flow of pass. An uneasy shot. Boy, does he love
Five players came in hungry tonight. I don't know what it is,
Keep
but
on
whatever they're
holding you
doing,
up. I'll do anything to break you from a day
Looks
and
like
night.
a ridiculous shot. Oh,
8 touches. That was one of the most calculated.
Keep on holding you up.
and we're creeping up on that 3-minute mark. Crouton double tap. What a shot! Ladies and gentlemen, Octanes and Roadhogs, welcome to another iteration of QRLS Season 6. We are officially in Week 2, starting tonight between these two 2-1 teams, the Gold Diggers, taking on the Cyclones. Joining me in the booth tonight, my good friend and colleague, captain of the Spectres, Mass Immune. Mass, welcome back to the booth, my friend.
Hey there, Little Bucket. Thanks for having me. It's been a hot minute since Master Moon has made his way back into the booth, but here it is. Here we are, ready for another night of some amazing QRLS action. I can't wait.
No doubt about it. As you all can see on this lovely overlay on your screen, the Cyclones are taking on the Gold Diggers. Both teams winning their Week 1 matchups. Massimune, this is the first time both of these franchises will ever have played each other. And give us your take here. New 4-man rosters, brand new look for both teams. So far, both teams with winning records, albeit very early on in the season. How do you think the hard reset strat for both of these teams is going to go?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that these teams have never actually faced each other. Obviously, the Cyclones are a new squad, but we didn't see last week the entirety of these rosters come into play. We did not see a weekend. We did not see Crocs or Socks. So for Gold Diggers and Cyclones respectively. So we have the potential for a completely different iteration of teams, completely different versions of teams that we've already seen. So it's going to be interesting to see how the dynamics shape up. I don't necessarily know if switch-ups are going to happen. I haven't conversed with these captains recently about what their respective substitution strategies are. Every captain seems to have a different idea of whether they're going to have a fluid fourth man, a rigid kind of like rock fourth man, or a completely flexible entire squad. Which is kind of like what I intend to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about this new 4-man roster ruling that we implemented for Season 6 is that everybody is doing it differently. And last week, some teams only ran 3 players, some teams ran 4. We saw unexpected subs, right? It was a lot of unpredictability, which just adds a whole nother variable to an already complex game in Rocket League, let alone QRLS Rocket League. So with that being said, Mass, the Cyclones coming into this season, or coming into this week, I should say, already have half the wins that they totaled last season at 4. Tonight, they could possibly already beat their last season's performance, this team having the number 1 pick back-to-back seasons in a row. What do you think is credit to that change, and do you think the Cyclones are on the up this season?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that starting off a season with a victory, a series victory, is a monumental accomplishment by a Cyclones franchise that, quite frankly, had a dismal season over the fall last year. So it's pretty. It has to be exciting for them. Their spirits have to be up, which mental is basically 50% of Rocket League. So if they can keep up that energy, they've got new young gun Rees at the kind of backing up their mechanical shortcomings. So I think that they should pose more than a danger to these gold diggers. That I'd say right now they're kind of vying for that league front runner spot in terms of just general favorites based off how scrims are going and how last week went.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that they have a real shot. Last week I would honestly call last week an incredible upset over the Rangers. Last season, especially at the end of last season, the Rangers looked like pretty like a sleeper team. Honestly, they took down. They were one of the only two teams to take down the three Rocketeers
Right.
last season. The team being the Spectres. Myself just saying. Anyway, so the Rangers looked really scary last season. And with the addition of C Wispy or Quispy, I still haven't actually figured out how he prefers to actually be called, but that guy's incredibly skilled. I've played with him personally several times, and he's scary on the field. So the fact that they were able to take them down, a team that had a grand total of 4 wins last season, is pretty nuts. So definitely don't count them out.
Absolutely. As the Philadelphia 76ers once said, you have to trust the process, right? And ZDL Pinky now taking the keys to this franchise, trying to turn that bad boy around. On the other side of things, the Gold Diggers looked really good in week 1, had a really fun series. They obviously kicked things off here in Season 6 on the field. Give us your take on the Gold Diggers, your interdivision rivals.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to judge them. They have done well against us on scrims, relatively even at the latter half of scrim times. But they've been kind of on a tear lately. But it's difficult to judge based off week 1 because the Kings they had a sub, right? Wreck My Rooster left the league very shortly after the matchup happened. So you got to wonder if there were some inter team friction that may have contributed, maybe stuff at home that may have contributed to their performance. So they did an admirable job, but it's hard to say if they did the best that they could have against the Gold Diggers. So I think tonight we'll see the most correct iterations of both of these teams.
Yeah, very good point. The Kings, for those of you who don't know, pretty much blew up the roster and now have a brand new squad outside of their captain Blubbernut. And honestly, Mass, this kind of seems to be the trend with Blub, and somehow he always seems to be in that hunt by the end of the season. And, it's going to be very interesting as they are also an interdivision rival to your Spectres as well. All 3 divisions really tight right now. Obviously, half the league went 2-1. The other half went 1-2 in week 1. So the week 2 through 4 stretch, in my opinion, Mass, is honestly really crucial because this is where the cream of the crop starts to kind of gain the ground that they need to gain.
Yeah, and it's getting a pretty early start. All the rapid moves. Generally, you don't see that until the Widowmaker week 3. So it's interesting to see how fluid it's happening now, and I think that might be a testament or a product of the 4-man roster thing. There's just so much more fluidity, so much more variability that you'll see in team strats and how captains approach matchups that it just creates such exciting scenarios, and we're seeing that play out in front of us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. lot riding on this one for both teams. Both teams technically tied for the lead in their respective divisions. Come week 3, Mass, as you mentioned, there's a lot more going on earlier than that, which we're not really used to seeing here in the QRLS. What do you think is going to happen come that dreaded week 3? Where do you think teams are position-wise for trade capital or even free agency moves? I mean, right now it almost seems like it would benefit to do the move now rather than wait until that week.
Yeah, I mean there's so many variables to consider, and it's difficult to say because you don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to risk losing a guy that just hasn't hit his stride, right? Before you really see his potential. You don't want to lose potential trade stock before the right time.
Right.
So there's so many, and I mean, like you just mentioned, there were no sweeps week 1. We played 3 games, 3 games per matchup, so it was as even as humanly possible for week 1. So for teams to be, barring extraneous circumstances, personal issues and whatnot, barring that, it's hard to see teams wanting to make trades because of skill right away. There were no blowouts, there were no sweeps, so it'll come down to, is my guy available for practice? Is my guy available for warm-ups? Or is one person just, underperforming substantially? And I don't think that's the case right now. So week 2 will be definitely the turning point for that analysis.
Yeah, no doubt. And, obviously the trade deadline coming right around week 5. There's a lot riding in that week as well. Last season, we did see a little bit of moves around the trade deadline. Not as many as we're quite used to seeing. However, there is a lot of chatter between you captains out there in the league, regardless if anybody makes the action or not. And that's what makes a lot of the trade rumors and the rumor and innuendo real spicy out there come mid-season.
Yeah. Trade rumors are probably the most fun part of being a captain, is just making people believe that things that you may or may not be doing. Every captain does it. Every captain worth his salt. So it's all just a game, and playoffs are the prize at the end of the tunnel. So
yeah, no doubt about it. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, the QRLS does have playoffs. That comes in week 12 after the All-Star week. 6 teams will make the playoffs. All 3 division winners, including 3 wildcard spots based on record, regardless of division. And Mass Immune, we are just about 2 minutes away. We already have one team here in the tunnel at Champions Field, just waiting on another. Give us your prediction for this match tonight.
It's funny. Leading into tonight, I basically assumed it would be a Gold Digger sweep, but as I kind of talk about it more, I've almost convinced myself that the Cyclones have a chance to at least take a game. So I'm gonna say 2-1, 2-1 to the Gold Diggers.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Quick and make it snappy to predict yourselves with channel points in the chat. We have a bunch of new stuff for channel rewards, including merch store discounts and coaching sessions and much more. Go ahead and spend those channel points, wager them, win a ton, and get yourself something spicy with those channel rewards. Also, quick shout out to Slurpy Snail for the subscription and calling out that the Cyclones will take it in Game 3 with a Reese game winner. Very specific. If he had a money line on that, Mass, he might actually win some dough.
That's not that crazy. I mean, Reese was the MVP for Cyclones every single game last week, so if he said, a ZDL Pinky game winner 50 Papa Chunky Puff or dunking, flip reset dunking Papa Chunky Puff, like, all right, you might you might have a pretty substantial margin of debt, bet margin there.
And ladies and gentlemen, teams are now here in the lobby, and that means we are just about ready to get going here in Champions Field. Massimmune, this is always the most exciting part of the night for me, Game 1, because you really never know how the spectrum is going to fall for either of these teams. And like you mentioned, we've seen teams like the Three Rocketeers last season, who actually had the second best record in league history last season, lose late in the season to the Rangers, and that might have contributed to their playoff momentum maybe thwarting a little bit. So you never really know what's going to happen in these game ones.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier tonight, mental is at least 50% of the game, and if you don't get your momentum or your mental correct, it'll completely change the momentum of the matchup.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And ladies and gentlemen, we are underway as kickoff is upon us. We see now the Cyclones. Croc with Socks, his debut here in the QRLS Massimmune.
And I just noticed that Crocs with Socks, the first time on the field, taking the place of Mimsy. Now he's up in the air, almost gets it under Papa Chunky Puff, but the 50 game is too strong as ZDL Pinky collects in the midfield. Back and forth gameplay we're seeing here, Buckets.
No doubt about it. Quick shout out to Mimsy, who's supporting his team from the sidelines tonight and giving out some gifted subs while this match is going on. Von Rabbit puts one in the back of the net.
Rabbit taking advantage of the distraction of Mimsy sending gifted subs in the chat to just slot it into the Cyclones net, telling them, hey, pay attention, the game is here.
No doubt about it. Big goal there by Von Rabbit. Had a really good week last week as well in the season opener. Keeping this pace up, there's a lot of players already that we could consider for most improved, and I think Von is on that list, Mass.
Absolutely, already making a case for next week's Player of the Week. Let's see if he can put up the numbers to make it happen, as the Cyclones seemingly keeping possession on the side of the field. Reeves with an amazing flick over the last defender, but Papa Chunky Puff gets it there skillfully as ever.
Chunky Puff now follows through with the shot and give the Gold Diggers a 2-goal lead here. You can see Reeves just barely missed that touch, and it leaves the back end open here, Mass.
Oh, he wants that back. You gotta know the nerves are just hitting him real hard. Reeves, a rookie of the league, so you gotta wonder how those week 1, week 2 jitters are hitting him, and you see that illustrated with that miss there.
We talk about it every week, Massimmune. The stream jitters are a real thing, and it can be paralyzing at points to some of these players who are still relatively new at being exposed like this, but nonetheless, we always seem to see them shake it off as Reese proves it on that shot.
Timing could not have been better. Reese shakes it off following a very fortunate 50-50 from ZDO Pinky off of Robbie, but hooks it perfectly past Von Rabbit into the corner of the Gold Diggers net. We got a 1-goal game with 3:27 remaining.
2-1 lead here for the Gold Diggers in game number 1. We see now big clear here by Reese going into the corner offensively. Beautiful demo! Ball up in the air. ZDL Pinky looking for the pass. Doesn't get enough on it. And we see now a reset here. Another demo in net. Net's wide open. What a play!
What an amazing play from the Cyclones. Papa Chunky Puff, the playmaker for the Gold Diggers, eliminated back to back, once by Reese, once by Pinky, and they're just left stunned, and nothing is left to do but to put the shot on net. Cyclones tie this game up.
A calculated demo by the captain, Pinky. Almost like an alley-oop there, Mass.
Absolutely. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, eat your heart out. ZDL Pinky will put that where it needs to go, and Reeves will slam it home. Now Crocs with Socks trying to collect in the midfield. Robbie slams it over for Papa Chunky, but Von Rabbit collects, trying to center it. Now Gold Diggers have the momentum again, but Reeves clears it out, and Crocs with Socks trying to take the shot on net. Double coverage, but the redirect by Reeves nearly slips by the defender.
Beautiful demo at the midfield by Reese. Reese is all over the field here. He's looking like he's warming up. Another demo in net, but a save by Robbie. Pinky is making the strategy known here early in game number 1.
The aggressiveness, the assertiveness of the captain of the Cyclones. You can tell that he's feeling himself. This is a Pinky unlike any we've ever seen, and it's clearly affecting the Goal Diggers. You see that awkward clear almost winds up in another goal for the Cyclones, but Papa Chunky Puff taking control of the situation, goes up, met by Reese in the air. Ball flails wildly off the ceiling now. Crocshastock is trying to control slowly in their corner, collects skillfully now. A little bit of breathing room for the Goal Diggers.
2 minutes to go. Tie game here. Cyclones have scored 2 unanswered on the Goal Diggers, but nonetheless, it's still anybody's ball game, ladies and gentlemen, in game number 1 of this 3-game series. Big clear by Reese into the sidewall. Looking for a pass, doesn't quite get what he wants on it. And Massimune, how important is scoring the first goal in a game, especially as close as this one, as we see the net wide open, but Von Rabbit can't get up to it in time. Ball was moving a little too fast.
You know, probably one of RLCS casters' favorite stat is, you know, how often does the first team that scores a goal win? And usually it's up there in the 70 to 80%. I'm sure eventually one of us will actually take the time to make that to make that stat known, because it is legitimate. It is a real thing. The momentum and the mental advantage that you get from it is palpable and tangible. So it's you know, it's a testament to the Cyclones' sheer will that they've managed to pull a 2-0 deficit back now with 30 seconds remaining, the clock winding down. It seems like all the momentum is on the Cyclones, and a shot from Reese nearly sneaks in, but Papa Chunky Puff collecting another whiff. You see the nerves. It's so evident. Players that would never make these misses are just flying past the ball. You've got it. Their hands have to be shaking on their controllers as we speak.
20 seconds ticking down as both teams looking to avoid overtime with a quick strike now. Big clear to the side by Papa Chunky Puff. Pinky looking for the 50, doesn't quite get it. Back end's open. Big touch there by Crocs with Socks. Clock ticking down to 0. Still up in the air. Anybody's ball. We're going to overtime.
Great clear there from Crocs with Socks with limited boost, and that high slow lob. Those are sometimes so difficult to really read correctly. Pinky off the ceiling trying to get the shot with the reset. Von Rabbit controlling skillfully, but Reese with the ceiling pass unable. Nobody there to read. Triple coverage in the net, but Crocs with Socks so speedy up, but thankfully Von Rabbit for the Goal Diggers makes the save. Goal Diggers on the back foot. Can the Cyclones capitalize on this offense to take the win here in game 1?
Von Rabbit with a clutch save on that shot by Crocs with Socks. He was as high as he could possibly get on that one. Pressure still on by the Cyclones. Net's wide open off the top post. Pinky wants that one back.
The 4th man, and you know that bounce shot almost worked to his advantage, but unfortunately it was a little bit too spicy and bounce on that crossbar. What an amazing read off the corner, the missed touch on the corner, but I believe that was that Von Rabbit. Oh no, it was Robbie. It actually didn't go anywhere near. It just popped straight down to Crocs with Socks, and he just slots it next to the post. An amazing victory by the Cyclones here in game 1.
What a crazy game. Goal Diggers kick this thing off real quick with a 2-goal lead, and then we see 3 unanswered by the Cyclones. Mass, give us the rundown here. What was the difference maker there in game number 1, and what did the Goal Diggers have to do to adjust?
You know, I was seeing it on both sides was just a lot of easy touches that were being whiffed, and so it's hard to attribute that to a single team because you know, both front runners, Reese and Papa Chunky Puff, were making those missed touches, but I think it was just a story of you know, a thousand you know, paper cuts ends up killing you. And the Cyclones at the end, they just had so much momentum. It seemed like the ball was just perpetually on the side of the Goal Diggers, even though it looks like, oh yeah, they had 66% field domination to Gold Diggers 34%. So their pressure is unlike anything I've ever seen from the Cyclones, and Gold Diggers just were not prepared for it.
We will see if the Gold Diggers can match up the series here in game number 2 as the Cyclones take a 1-game lead here in this 3-game series. They dominated the field in game number 1. We will see how the Gold Diggers adjust. Big hit there by Papa Chunky Puff off the read on the face-off. Bounce pass off the wall. Rabbit wanted it, but Crocs with Socks just too quick. Gets the clear, and already it seems like the Gold Diggers are playing with a purpose.
Absolutely, although you see another uncharacteristic whiff there by Papa Chunky Puff. Reese controlling it. We know his once potential champion of the K1 Mountain Champion Heat. Reese will always control it if he has the opportunity, which I think is a big difference that we're seeing here. Gold Diggers much more willing to give the ball away. Cyclones much more willing to control it. Let's see if that translates into another Cyclones lead, as right now it looks, at least on the surface, like the Gold Diggers have control as Crocs with Socks tries to send it back into the Cyclones, or excuse me, into the Gold Diggers' side. Von Rabbit rejects.
Big clear here. A minute in, nobody has scored yet in game number 2. Anybody new to this league, you must know that we play 3 games in the QRLS regardless of series records, so this gives teams an opportunity to win 3 games in a row against their opponents. We see now off the sidewall, great defense there by ZDL Pinky. Cyclones, big flick. Reese looking for something spicy, gets the bump on Papa Chunky Puff. Ball's up in the air, this one's floating in Massimmune. Things are starting to get physical.
Absolutely, we're seeing the physicality come out, and what a redirect by ZDL Pinky. That's just going to float into net. It caught the Gold Diggers completely unaware. Von Rabbit in no universe did he expect ZDL Pinky to make that shot. That will teach you, young man, never underestimate the captains of any team, especially not the Cyclones. They will make you pay for it, as we see there. Cyclones taking another victory, or another lead, and Crocs with Socks off a pass from, I believe, Reese on the left wall. Yes, an amazing clear downfield and a redirect. This is a completely different Cyclones buckets.
No doubt about it, and as we talked about in pregame, if the Cyclones win this game, Massimmune, game number 2, they will officially have the same number of wins as they did in Season 5. How insane is that?
Absolutely insane. Already an incredibly successful season for the new captain of the Cyclones. We're going to see if he can make it a historic season if he manages to sweep who were, I would say, now previously considered the league frontrunners in the Gold Diggers.
Still have plenty of time here, just over halfway in this game to come back. Beautiful demo. This one's off the wall. Double tap opportunity. Rabbit doesn't get enough mustard, and we see now a big clear in Massimmune. The Gold Diggers just have not controlled the ball, like you mentioned.
And you saw the clear there, the control from the captain, ZDL Pinky. Like, he knew that he couldn't actually get up to that, so he just skimmed it over his car to pop it off the backboard. It's so much more important that you get it away from the net than you just hit the ball. That is what so many people, so many players fail to realize. Like, you have to get the ball in an advantageous position, and the Cyclones have been doing that left and right. Gold Diggers need to reformulate a strategy that turns the Cyclones on the back foot, but Reese off another rather unfortunate 50-50 from Robbie, but he's just so fast, and Papa Chunky Puff, before he knows what's happening, the ball is flying into his net. The Cyclones are absolutely dominating the Gold Diggers right now.
3-goal game, 2 minutes to go. Anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen, but the Gold Diggers are going to need something quick in order to get that momentum at least a little bit back in their favor. If they go down 2-0 here in this series, Mass, does that almost warrant possibly trying a sub? We saw that last week with the Speed Demons.
A sub, so it'd be a weekend. I mean, maybe. Right now, it's hard to really pinpoint a single weak point on the Gold Diggers. They can sub out I believe they can sub out either Von Rabbit or Robbie Rilhu for El Weekend, but I honestly don't necessarily know that that is necessarily the correct. I mean, it certainly couldn't hurt based off their current trajectory, but I think it's just a newfound Cyclones. Their confidence is they're brimming with confidence right now. No double commits, no over commits, and what looked like an unfortunate redirect from the Gold Diggers. I think that was Papa Chunky Puff. Trying to clear it, but somehow manages to just make a cracked shot onto his own net. Sir Bro Dude, is that you? Give the controller back to Papa Chunky Puff.
4-goal lead, ladies and gentlemen. Less than a minute to go. This one seems to be all but over. What a save there by Chunky Puff, making up for the own goal to an extent. However, puts this one on net off the top post. What a cracked save by Rees.
Defense, the control, the shots, the positioning. This is up there with one of the most impressive performances I've seen. Gold Diggers, they're not playing the best I've ever seen them, but they're not playing terribly. They're not overcommitting for absolutely everything. They're just getting straight out outplayed, which is probably one of the most impressive aspects of this matchup right now.
Absolutely, and ladies and gentlemen, with 10 seconds ticking down, it is almost certain that the Cyclones are going to win this series 2-0, and they are going to go to Game 3 hoping to get the brooms out. And congratulations to the captain, ZDL Pinky, as the Cyclones officially are 4 wins in, matching their Season 5 total.
Absolutely, congratulations are in fact in order for ZDL Pinky and the Cyclones in general. But as we have noticed, based off last week's matches, it is never too late to salvage a series, or at least salvage the night in terms of getting a win and avoiding the sweep. And the potential is there. The Gold Diggers have more than enough skill, more than enough clout to make it happen. They just need to regroup, take a deep breath, assess what has happened and what has gone wrong. You see zeros across the board in terms of goals. Decent offense from Papa Chunky Puff, but again, you're seeing just overall more efficient play from the Cyclones. Even the Gold Diggers even had more ball possession in that game than the Cyclones, but the defense, 4 saves on the side of the Cyclones. The defense was just impeccable. So we're gonna need to see a paradigm shift in the Gold Digger strategy.
No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have now officially been paid out if you voted for the Cyclones. Congratulations to those of you who won the 55,000 channel points in that bet. Game 3 here. Are we possibly going to see the first sweep of Season 6, or will the Gold Diggers be able to at least end this week at 3-3? We will see how it goes. Kickoff underway. Big hit there by Papa Chunky Puff. Big clear by Rees, and now we see automatically another transition opportunity off the back wall. What a play by the Cyclones. They're cooking with gas tonight.
The foresight on Crocs with Socks and just the confidence that Rees would put it in the correct position. These guys, all 3 of these guys, are just sinking like I've never seen them operate before. Such an impressive performance right now from Cyclones as Crocs with Socks again puts it towards the net, and the Gold Diggers are just flabbergasted. They have no clue on how to deal with this. ZDL Pinky, just a menace on the field, immediately off the kickoff, goes to bump Papa Chunky Puff off the play. The tenacity of these Cyclones is just amazing.
This is absolutely insane to see. Off the back wall, that was almost a spicy double tap for a 3-goal lead. Instead, we see now Chunky Puff puts this thing into the offensive zone for the first time for the Gold Diggers in game number 3. Off the side wall, back wall, bounce, big clear by Crocs with Socks in his QRLS debut, and he is impressing here, Massamu.
Absolutely, for a debut game, it looks like the stream jitters rule just does not apply to Crocs with Socks. I did play with him in scrims once or twice, and we saw nothing like this on our scrim. So they have to have been grinding, hitting the field on their off time and getting their playstyle working correctly, because this is nothing like what we saw when we scrimmed the Cyclones.
Beautiful demo by Papa Chunky Puff to stop the pressure of the Cyclones. We see now big hit there by Pinky to keep it in the offensive zone. Big bump, and we see a little bit of chaos there in the corner. And now Von Rabbit looking for the clear. No, Papa Chunky Puff gets it instead. Robbie looking to follow, can't get the pass into the corner. We see Pinky trying to get this thing going. Socks up in the air, back wall pass, nobody home. Beautiful demo to stop the shooter by Papa Chunky Puff.
And you saw Papa Chunky Puff just waiting there for the boost in the midfield as ZDO Picky controls the ball into their side. Boost is great, but if the ball is approaching your net, as Crocs with Socks will teach you, possession and positioning is much more important than your boost total. Reeves with the pop-up, pass off the back wall, Crocs with Socks nailing it home with a little pinch there. Just really, really... just, a great performance from the Cyclones, a franchise-defining performance.
No doubt about it, and Crocs with Socks officially has a hat trick here in game number 3. Give him 4 while we're at it.
Make it 4. He clearly heard me talk about Von Rabbit vying for Player of the Week earlier and said, no, I think I'm gonna make a better case for it, as he slots his 4th goal right now. One of the most impressive debuts of any player I've ever seen. Little Bucket.
Great performance here by the Cyclones and Massamune. If we see the sweep here, this will officially be the first sweep of Season 6, and the Cyclones will have beaten their Season 5 record, officially declaring the rebuild a success. Crocs with Socks now trying to get another one here added to his repertoire. Instead, we see a clear. Reese puts one on, top post, no, hits the bar.
You can just tell that the spirit of the Gold Diggers right now is just gone. The confidence of the Cyclones at any given moment in that last drive, 2 out of 3 players were just in the air. They are not afraid of this Gold Digger squad. Their comms are down, their positioning is down, and it would be nothing short of a miracle if they brought this one back. But with 2 minutes remaining, never say never, as we see Von Rabbit, the captain, trying to regain for the Gold Diggers right now.
Off the ceiling, off the back wall, what a 50 by Papa Chunky Puff to keep that thing out of his net. Reeves was coming in hot with a purpose, just like Frank's Red Hot Sauce.
I've never been a big fan of Buffalo. I'm more of a sriracha myself, but I think these Cyclones could change my mind. They're making it spicy on the field tonight with those demos. The control of the ball. I'm a ones aficionado myself. So anytime you try to get control of the ball on the hood of your car, I'm going to be appreciating your gameplay. And the Cyclones have certainly been doing that tonight. Now Von Rabbit tries to keep control, but just the patience and the positioning, the challenge game of Crocs with Socks and the Cyclones in general just seems to be absolutely impregnable.
Big bump there, but Pinky can't get there in time as Papa Chunky Puff saves that thing from being another goal. Less than a minute to go here, ladies and gentlemen. A 4-goal deficit smells like defeat for the Gold Diggers and smells like a sweep for the Cyclones. And Massamune, this might be hard to believe considering the Cyclones' record last season, but this is the first sweep in franchise history, officially making them the 12th team in history to get a sweep in the QRLS.
Oh man, the first sweep in their history in the second week of Season 5. Season 6. Amazing performance here by the Cyclones. congratulations are in order for the captain ZDL Pinky. Just an amazing and really a selfless performance. He played the role of the facilitator and the playmaker tonight, and it was evident in his team's performance. Yeah, he might not be in line for Player of the Week because of not putting as many goals as a Crossfit Sox or a Reese. But every single player of the Cyclones made tonight happen, and I couldn't be prouder of those guys for bringing it like they brought it tonight.
And ladies and gentlemen, real quick, another shout out to Mimsy after his team gets the sweep. Another gifted 5 subs. Thank you very much, Mimsy, and congratulations to the Cyclones on their series sweep. Massimune, do you have anything else for the crowd before we send them home after the first sweep of Season 6?
Absolutely not. Thanks for having me in the booth. Little Bucket, always great to be here. Looking forward to another amazing conclusion to week 2. We got so many fire matchups coming down the pipeline. I can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to check out all of our social media, including Facebook and including the QRLS link tree, which has our merch store and our TikTok and much, much more. As always, I am Little Bucket 59, a.k.a. the commissioner of the QRLS. Do not forget to tune in tomorrow as we have a double header on the books for all of you wonderful Octanes and Roadhogs. And as always, keep it quick.